Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Crucial Conversations podcast. My goal on this platform is to empower others towards self-fulfillment. These are the conversations that you need to have to unlock your maximum potential. Whether you are feeling confused about your path in life, falling in love, starting a business, healing your inner child, moving to a foreign country, embarking on your spiritual journey, or building generational wealth, let's talk. The range of emotions and experiences that allow us to fully live our lives on Earth are beautiful and yet can be difficult to navigate. My goal is to create a safe space to talk about life, the good and the bad, in an effort to share wisdom, advice, and insight. I want to connect with you. I want to encourage you and empower you to live the life of your dreams, while reminding you that that does not always mean that you need to change your circumstances. Together, we will help each other level up and have the crucial conversations necessary to do so. Good morning, America. We are back at it with another crucial conversation. This Sunday morning, I would like to keep it short and sweet with all of y'all and talk about how to be a better listener. This is a conversation that I think could go on for hours, but I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet. I think that you can always become a better listener and there's always more room to grow. I am not the perfect listener, but it is an area of my life that I have tried to delegate more time and energy to improving because I recognize how important listening is in your relationships. And I mean all relationships. Romantic, platonic, professional, whatever it is. If you can be a better listener, you will single-handedly improve those relationships just based on the fact that you are listening to the other person in that relationship better. So the first tip, I'd like to give 3 tips to all of y'all today. The first tip is and it seems so easy and it seems so common sense, but do not interrupt. That's a hard one for me sometimes because I'm a very energized person, and when somebody says something that gets my brain going, I'm just like, oh, I want to share. But if you are having a conversation with another person and you are constantly interrupting them, what it signals to that person is that you don't truly value what they are saying. And that may not be your intention, but if you are constantly interrupting them and interrupting their thoughts with your own, you are essentially placing the value of your thoughts above the other person's. And it does not allow that other person to communicate the way that he or she or they is trying to. So if you can try to let the other person in the conversation finish their thought, finish their sentence, finish their story, whatever it is, before you interject with your own interpretation or advice or a side comment that their line of thought reminded you of. If you can try to let them finish before you start speaking, not only will they feel like you are valuing them and their thought process, their ideas, their input, all of the above, but that you value them as a person. And when someone is feeling seen and recognized and heard and appreciated and valued, that person is going to trust you so much more than if they feel unsafe to share wholeheartedly what they're thinking. Now, this can be difficult. It absolutely can be difficult. But you can improve with practice, and becoming aware of the way that you hold a conversation with another person can help you to recognize when and how often you're interrupting another person, and it then prompts you to stop doing it so frequently. So even just after listening to this, I recommend and I just highly suggest that you try to be a little bit more aware of your role in the next conversation that you have with someone, and try to be a better listener by not interrupting. The second point that I would like to discuss, and I believe makes you a better listener, is to sometimes ask, but at least try to assume whether or not someone is looking to be listened to or given advice. It is human nature, at least for me, to want to help people. And when someone is telling me a story or a struggle of theirs, my initial gut reaction is to give them advice and try to help them through what they're going through. But I will tell you this, not everybody needs advice all of the time. We are all going through everything in our lives that we are meant to go through, and we are meant to go through those things to grow through those things. And sometimes we need the help of our loved ones, but sometimes we just need to figure it out on our own. And when your loved ones are coming to you with struggles or stories or areas that they may be unsatisfied with, whatever it is, sometimes they just need you to listen, because allowing them to discuss openly with you how they're feeling and how they're thinking actually allows them to work through their thoughts and feelings out loud in a way that they aren't able to do internally. So sometimes just being that listener actually opens the door for the other person in the relationship to figure it out on their own. Sometimes they just need to hear themselves talk, but they feel more comfortable doing that when they're talking to you. So if you don't know, ask, do you want me to listen or do you want my advice? And not a lot of people probably are going to think about this before they start telling you a story, but then it prompts them to think, what is it that I really need right now? And the more that we can ask ourselves and each other these important questions about, okay, I'm feeling a certain way. How exactly am I feeling? What do I strive to achieve out of this? Truly. And the more we ask those questions, the more self-aware we become. And then the more self-aware we are, the more we are able to thrive in our relationships with each other. Because I truly believe you can only know someone as deeply as you know yourself. The last point is that if you can respond with enthusiasm and engagement, the other person is going to, again, truly feel like you are listening to them and valuing their thoughts, ideas, feelings, and existence. If you can be attentive in the conversation, continue to be engaged while they are speaking, and provide notions that reinforce the fact that you're there to support and listen to the other person. When you are having a conversation, imagine someone looking at their phone while you are trying to talk to them, or constantly looking over their shoulder to see who's walking in the door at the diner. Okay, you're not going to feel like that person is truly paying attention to you. So when you're in a conversation and someone is speaking, you should be making eye contact. You should be utilizing body language positions that truly show the other person that you are being attentive in the conversation. So maybe lean forward, maybe lean back, and you're actually like opening up your arms and your chest to actually understand. You're not fidgeting. You're not, like I said, looking over your shoulder. And again, you're not interrupting. So remain engaged. Look at that person while they are speaking, use facial expressions, and maybe you can use words every here and there like, yep, I understand, I hear you. And letting them know that you are paying attention. It seems so simple, right? But a lot of the time, I have conversations with some of my friends, coworkers, things like that, and I'm like, are you really listening right now? And it's okay, because we're all going through our own things, and maybe I'm not the best listener 100% of the time. I can admit that. But it's an area that I would like to improve, because I want to make sure that my loved ones and the people in my life feel valued, seen, and heard. So make sure that you are engaging with your face, your body, your words. If it's a yes, I hear you, I understand, your eye contact, all of the above. If you look like you're listening, you're probably listening, and the other person is for sure going to feel like you are listening. And when a person can feel appreciated and seen and heard, that builds trust. And trust builds intimacy, and it allows you to reap deeper, more intimate connections. And when I say intimate, again, I do not mean physical intimacy. There are so many forms of intimacy, and emotional intimacy is very, very important to me. And feeling like you have a foundation of trust with another person allows you to build that foundation for emotional intimacy, and you are truly able to open up in a way that you probably wouldn't feel comfortable doing if you didn't feel like that person was really going to take the time and energy to accept you for who you are and participate in your life the way that you truly desire. Because we are all here to be connected and support each other. I truly believe that. So the more that we can try to show up like that for ourselves and be self-aware, like I said before, the more that we can do that for our loved ones. And it then improves the quality of all of our relationships in our lives, with ourselves, with others, with our loved ones, with strangers even. It's really tenfold, guys. The more that you work on yourself, the more that you will see all the areas of your life improve. I truly do believe that. So those are my 3 points today of how to become a better listener. And like I said before, we have all got room to grow. And I know that I'll be talking with my family. We'll be at the dinner table and I am interrupting them left and right. And they probably get so frustrated with me. And sometimes I'm more self-aware of how I am coming off in a conversation with a friend or, with a romantic partner. I know for sure that I need to focus more on my familial relationships and really step up as a listener and, the other counterpart in those relationships, because that's my area of struggle. And I know it's really easy to kind of let that relationship with your brother or your mom or your dad be the one that you're able to let your guard down a little bit more for. But I challenge you, and I challenge myself, to just be more self-aware when you are speaking to all of your loved ones, and try your best to be a better listener, and you will reap a greater and higher quality life. I love all of you, and I thank you so much for listening in to me work through my thoughts and share my experiences and things that I feel that I wish I would have known a little while ago. I will talk to you guys all later, and as always, have a blessed day. Mwah. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Crucial Conversations. I hope that you were inspired by this talk and reminded that you are capable of anything you have the capacity to imagine. Share this episode with someone that you want to help unlock their maximum potential. Because sometimes in order to find the answers, you have to know how to ask the questions. And that is what we do on this podcast. I love you all, and I will see you next time on Crucial Conversations. You!